stage, and also somebody that used to come along and enjoy themselves as well. A memory or two?
Memories are two. I remember playing in the ballroom with the Hellcats the first time I played in the Kinema Ballroom, and it was tremendous because the crowd, you know, in the days were actually unbelievable. I mean, it was jam packed. You know, it's not like today. It's all changed now, but in the days it was that was your like your holiday. You must go to the Kinema Ballroom. And of course, all the groups being there was fantastic. And obviously, in that time, they started getting the big groups, the name groups, right, the top of the pops and that. They started getting them up to the Kinema Ballroom. Then obviously from there, it just went from strength to strength, and it was fantastic.
Jimmy Bryce is in the area a legend, a living legend, I may add. And one of the top bands that will be performing tonight will be the Falcons. Throughout the 40th anniversary that we're celebrating of the Kinema Ballroom, you'll find that the Falcons have a big input into it, and I'm pleased to say that Jimmy's agreed to come along and play in the concert tonight. Jimmy, take us back to these early days of the Falcons. When was the band actually formed?
I was about 14-year-old at the time, and I thought of the idea of having the band, you know, and it was Lonnie Lundigan. It was who was my favourite boy, you know. So I started off myself and typical Spanish guitars, you know, 10 bob or something. And I got Bud, he was on the bass. And my first singer, the original singer, was a boy called Dusty Love. He went away to America working on the ships and that. And they had a rhythm player called, God, I can't remember his name now. It'll come to me.
Vic Chappelle, was it?
No, he wasn't first. Yeah. There was another guy before him. And the things just changed as it went along, you know. The other rhythm player, he left, and then we got Vic in, and that was it. And Charlie York was the drummer, and we just started down at the club behind the school.
The Burnside Club?
The Burnside Club, that was the very first.
Legendary Burnside Club.
Yeah, brilliant, it was great.
It couldn't have been easy for you in these early days. Obviously the enthusiasm was there with young lads and that, but the touring took a bit of it, because you were performing more or less near enough every night.
And in the days there were longer jobs, were 4-hour jobs, you know what I mean, which is the
legendary Burnside Club.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been easy for you in these days, because the touring was a big thing in these days, Jimmy.
That's right. It was, you were in the van for hours, going wherever you were going, played for 4 hours, and then you were on a couple of hours back home again. It was hard going right enough, you know, but you were young, you know, full of adrenaline. It was great.
You had your own band, Jimmy. It was a legendary band, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a reddish colour, and the Falcons painted down the white down the side. It was really fantastic. Yeah. And the guy, Kenny, he was a driver. Great boy, he looked after it. He worked in the dockyard and the garage down there, you know, and he looked after it. It was great. Never any problems. Drove thousands of miles, no problem at all.
How long and when did you leave the band?
Oh, I was in the band for years, and I can't mind exactly when I left the band, like, you know. Yeah. But I mean, it went through different phases, you know what I mean. It was, the band changed to different ones, you know.
The Falcons were one of the first real bands to come in, pop bands, proper pop bands to come and play the Kinema Ballroom.
Yeah.
What's your early memories of the KB?
It's fantastic. It was unbelievable because you had all the big bands coming up from, I mean big rock bands coming up from down south, which you didn't see them anywhere else, but you always saw them in the Kinema Ballroom, which was fantastic. Yeah.
There's a whole load of artists going to be appearing tonight, but none more popular to myself than this gentleman. I've watched his career, being a friend of the family, a friend of his family I may add, for many years, and David Porterfield has remained a great favourite with me even today. So I'm equally and happy that you'll be able to appear with us tonight, Davey. Let's go back to 1964, and you know, what were you doing about that time? You formed the Nameless Ones, did you not?
It was with a band called the Nameless Ones, a 5-piece band. We just played around about wee places, wee venues here and there, and then all of a sudden we were in the ballroom. We're probably the proudest. We were all really proud that we eventually hit the ballroom, you know, and that's where you had to play to be noticed. It was great fun.
For one of the best bands for the late 60s and early 70s was Argus, and then a social convener of the Dockyard Club in Rosyth. When the big bands dried up, kind of live music dried up at the Kinema Ballroom, Davey and Arthur Owen and big Tony Barbara used to come in and play the clubs, and they were brilliant. Tell us something about Argus.
Argus, it was we played for 6.5 years and never once rehearsed. That was the strange thing about it. We all worked. Tony was in the Navy. There was all kinds of things going on, but we never actually rehearsed. We jammed every song and learned it by playing them, just sheer playing. Yeah. Every night something else would work in. Oh, aye, that's how that should be, and it worked that way. But we never rehearsed at all.
To be honest, Argus was a great band. I can remember Tam White arrived one afternoon when Argus was on at the Dockyard Club in Rosyth, and at a drop of a hat, the lads backed Tam White. You know, I mean, he was a big star at that time, but unfortunately was doing another club that for some other reason they had double booked. So we got the privilege of that. But from Argus, Davis performing with the Falcons nowadays. Tell us about something about what you're doing nowadays with the Falcons.
The Falcons reformed with me in the band about 10 years ago. It was a different name. I can't even remember what the band's name was, but because me and Trevor played in the original Falcons in the Ballroom, 64, 65, we decided to go back and call the band the Falcons again. It's a popular band through Fife now. We're all enjoying it. You know, we're all coming up for 60 and still laughing our heads off on stage, and it was great fun.
The Falcons is more of a dynasty than a pop band in Dunfermline area. They were absolutely brilliant and still are. I did hear that you're going to cut an album soon.
We're going to be recording quite soon. Some of the heavier stuff that we do, you know, the Deep Purple thing and Toto and all that sort of stuff. We're going to do that. We've done the 60s one, and we've done a rock and roll one with the two lassie singers and sax player. That's done, but this is the one we want to do is what we're currently playing. You know, much raunchier stuff. You know.
Yeah. Looking forward to tonight.
Oh, aye, it's going to be great fun. I think we'll be surprised who comes out the woodwork tonight. It should be great fun.
David Porterfield, thanks very much. And thanks for being a legend. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, the 40th anniversary of the Kinema Ballroom. I don't think we could have put together a star-studded lineup without the help of this gentleman here. Watty Robertson has always been a hero of mine, and I'll say this throughout the day, they're all heroes of mine, to be honest. And Watty actually appeared in the Kinema Ballroom with, amongst other bands, the top band, the Red Hawks. Watty, before the Red Hawks, who did you play in before the Red Hawks?
I played with a band called Bobby Dean and the Dynamos, but before that it was Nick Strand and the Strangers, and we rehearsed in a wee green shed up William Street, right across from Gilbert Ray's lemonade factory. Remember that? That was a way back in, it must have been about 1961ish. And actually I got Arthur Owen's job because he moved on to the Hellcats, Mike Satan and the Hellcats. So it was Nick Strand and the Strangers, then Bobby Dean and the Dynamos, then the Red Hawks.
The Red Hawks went on to be legends of the Kinema Ballroom and other places as well. They were legendary in Cowdenbeath, and they appeared on television, all the rest of it. And you had something like a repertoire of, you could play non-stop for 6 hours or something. Oh,
easy. Aye. I mean, the guys in the band, they were all older than me, so I'd done a fair apprenticeship in the Red Hawks, and I learned a lot. And actually, the singer in the Red Hawks at that time was a guy called Alan Jordan, who I had the greatest respect for, because he taught me so much about guitar and music in general. And it was a great time for me. The Red Hawks. Cowdenbeath Ballet.
That's right.
Cross Hill, was it Cross Hill?
Cross Hill Club?
No, Lahore, because we used to do a Lahore ball once every couple of months or something. I'm not too sure. So I'm suffering from senior moments.
So, I mean, apart from the Kinema Ballroom, you're obviously a very busy band.
I travelled all over. I mean, we went up Perthshire. We went up and done TV in Aberdeen. I can only remember going away up to do a show, and I trailed all the way up there, and I didn't have a guitar. I left my guitar sitting on the pavement at home, and I had to go up to J.T. Forbes, the shop in Aberdeen, and borrow a guitar. I remember having to do that, and it was tremendous, great.
The Red Hawks, you went on to be actually part of the legendary KB show band as well.
No, that's right. When I left the Red Hawks, I went on the road for a wee while, my own wee band, supporting big bands, the likes of the Kinks and all them, because they were all coming up at that time through the week. And we used to trail away to Falkirk, and we supported the Kinks, Manfred Mann, all these sort of bands. And then I kind of got a wee bit tired of that, and I got asked by Jim Brown, the Jim Brown Show Band, if I'd play with them. So I played with the Jim Brown Show Band for maybe a couple of years or something like that. And then I was approached to see if I'd come in here and play with the Kinema Ballroom Band, which I did do. And I played in here, and then that band got broken down to a smaller and smaller and smaller unit. And eventually we finished up with a band called The Change. And I played in here then up to about, I think it was about 1971 or almost 72. Yeah. I played in here.
This gentleman here is Alan Fraser, drummer extraordinaire. You enjoying yourself? Are you looking forward to appearing tonight?
I'll have a good laugh. I hope it's going to be enjoyable anyway, you know.
Now,
I see a lot of people I've not met for a long while, you know, so it should be right.
Now, what a lot of the viewers won't realise is that you were actually in at the very beginning there, Alan, eh?
Well, I would have thought so, but according to some of the photographs that's up there and the stories about certain bands, I don't think I was actually there at all, you know.
To be honest, as a researcher and historian for entertainment in Dunfermline, Alan's got to be one of the luckiest performers around, because whenever Alan left the band, they always got exposed by the Dunfermline Press or various other newspapers. And Alan's right, when he was with the Hellcats, he left for a couple of weeks and they got a big write-up. And of course you were with the legendary Shadettes. And prior to Alan leaving, Darryl Sweet came in, and the Dunfermline Press wanted a story there. So tell us about the early days of the legendary Shadettes.
Well, the band actually started off, they were all school chums, all school together, and I got the job because I had a brand new kit of drums. I think that was the reason. I'd been going for lessons, and Pete Agnew had found out about me from some source at school, and I went along to an audition in Cowdenbeath actually at the time, and the minute they seen I had a brand new kit of drums, the job was mine, you know. That was basically it, you know. But everybody was probably at the same level at that time. Everybody was just starting out playing, and it was exciting times.
Yeah. Prior to the was it prior to the Shadettes that you were with the Hellcats?
No, I was with the Shadettes to start with, and I left the Shadettes and went with the Hellcats after that. And
they were another legendary band, weren't they?
Well, it was quite funny, Brian, that the Hellcats, in actual fact, weren't one of the biggest bands in Dunfermline, but they were a big band in Scotland. Where the likes of the Shadettes, the Red Hawks, the Falcons, and that played about Dunfermline all the time, the Hellcats were further afield, you know. We played in North England and all like the Barlands in Glasgow and the north of Scotland and all over. So they did a lot more travelling, and they were better known throughout Scotland possibly, but not so well known in their hometown, if you know what I mean.
The Kinema Ballroom, 40 years, that's what we're here for tonight. What did the Kinema Ballroom mean to you?
It was an education for me. In these days, brought up, Cecil Hunter used to bring up bands for England every week. And of course, that was the days before DVDs and videos and things like that. So basically we used to go up there and watch pro bands and learn. We used to stand at the side of the stage like fans, if you like, you know, and watch what other bands are doing and learn. That's what that meant to me. Like I remember when I first decided to go full time, I went and seen the Hollies down the stair, and I seen a drummer called Bobby Elliott playing with the Hollies, and I thought at that time he was the best drummer I'd seen, British drummer, and that's what I was wanting to be. So that sort of inspired me, if you like.
I remember reading an article to do with a band called JB Memorial that were playing in the Kinema Ballroom, and how they had one of the best up-and-coming guitarists in the Dunfermline area in the band. 40 years on, this gentleman is still young, still up and coming, and is still one of the best guitarists in the area. Welcome, Ronnie, to the
Hiya, Brian.
40th anniversary of the Kinema Ballroom.
Thank
Very
you.
quickly, what did the Kinema Ballroom mean to you?
Kinema Ballroom to me was just a total change in what I grew up with. I grew up in a big band atmosphere. My father played the trumpet. My uncles had a big, sort of well-known band in the area. So suddenly coming from that environment into 13, 14 years of age, hearing the Beatles and the Stones and all that stuff, and then going to places like the Ballroom and seeing it live, you know, where all these bands, you know, the Falcons, some of the guys are playing tonight, you know, did all that stuff, you know, and equally as well as these bands, the big bands, you know.
Yeah. You actually came from a dynasty. The Brown band, the Jim Brown band, was legendary right up to the mid 70s in the Dunfermline area.
Yeah.
Did you feel any pressure on that? Were you encouraged anyway from that side of the family?
Yeah, I was encouraged, but there was a generation gap. My grandfather kind of ran the band, and he was marvellous person, but very he was older, you know. I mean, you know, that was it, you know. So he didn't like the Beatles and the Stones, you know. So yeah, there was a kind of influence to play something, but not particularly the guitar, you know. So that's, you know, it's kind of was pressurised. It was very pressurised growing up in that environment, you know.
Yeah. Ronnie, you're still performing with the Falcons these days, and kept fairly busy.
Yeah, we sure are, you know. I mean, for a few years we did the sort of the club circuit, you know, a couple of residencies, and we decided to sod it, you know. We're older, we want to enjoy ourselves again like we used to enjoy ourselves when we were 16, 17, you know. And so now we do what we like to do, you know. We do right from 60s to Pink Floyd, you know, and we particularly pick our songs on two bases: one, that we like the song, and two, that we'll do it well. So we tend to select from artists that we like, Hollies and Small Faces, you know, and Eamon Connor, and stuff that suits the band, you know, right through to modern stuff, and just enjoy ourselves now, you know.
Is there any added pressure on you tonight, being a baby of the band tonight?
There absolutely is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reputations out there. It's marvellous, you know. And that's what we said earlier, you know. I used to go and see Jimmy and Watty and all these guys in the Ballroom, you know. And it was marvellous because I think one of the good things then, these days, these guys were all good players, and they were rehearsed bands, and you could go and see the Chadettes playing with John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers, you know, and they were all on an even keel. There was no, you know, nowadays these guys all do the big concerts with massive PAs and lasers and the lights and the works, you know. And in those days, when you saw Deep Purple in the Ballroom, there was 5 of them and they had the same gear as the Chadettes had, you know. So it was an even keel. So you therefore saw on that basis, you know, Manny Charlton, Roy Robertson, Trevor Foster, all these guys were, you kind of blended them in with Deep Purple and stuff, you know. So that, you know, yeah, it's marvellous tonight, you know. I'm just glad I knew them, you know, and I know them, you know. It's,
well, many thanks for agreeing to...
thank you very much.
To be said that when I went round with the special invitations to be part of the receiving celebrations, Ronnie was in his bed.
Yeah.
So, 1,000 apologies for that, but many
That's
thanks
all
for
right.
agreeing to come along.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy yourself.
I'm looking
today.
forward to tonight. Thank you.